This time on Whatever We Want, we talk about
Lightyear and What If and
Ifs.
Marvel and the Sinister Six, and we just bounce all over the place. So you better stay tuned.
Off the rails.
Time codes down in the description if you want to jump ahead. Enjoy! Pre-Banter. Daniel, how are you doing, my friend?
Doing pretty good, dude. It's funny because we just did for those of you that don't know, when we get ready, we sync everything up, we clap and all that stuff. I just did my first devlog for my game, and I had to do that as I was editing.
Wow.
And I was like, oh wait, this feels so familiar.
It was like Jake trained me, conditioned me. You were like, we were Pavlov. You were like expecting me to hear pre-banter next, and you're like, where is it?
Yeah.
But yeah, so we have a little bit of a different episode today. So my man Daniel over here didn't really tell me. It was also my fault because I just forgot. But yesterday he was like, when are we recording the podcast? Because we've been releasing them every Thursday, and he was like, he's going out of town for something. And he was like, I'm going out of town tomorrow, until next Thursday. And I was like, well, I guess we gotta record tomorrow then.
Yeah.
So we had no time to prep anything. And we both had really busy days today. So we literally sat here for the past 5 minutes being like, what are we gonna talk about? So we'll see how this goes.
I mean, we do have a plan.
We have a loose plan.
Yeah.
It's
okay to not
beginning
be
of a plan.
All formal all the time, all formatted and stuff. It's
this
good.
Is whatever we
it's
want
to change things
off
up.
the rails. All right. Well, are you ready for?
Maybe we should make this a mini series.
Well, we had the Crank Chronicles,
whatever we want.
Remember?
Yeah.
And that was kind of off the rails. But I like off the rails. What do you think of that? Whatever we want, off the rails. Rut-row.
Yeah.
Let's keep with the alliteration. All right, you ready for the introduction?
Yeah, hit me with it.
You may want us to talk about this or that, but we don't care. We're going to talk about whatever we want. Welcome back to Wherever We Want, the podcast where we, Jake and Daniel, two devishly handsome gentlemen, talk about movies, TV shows, give behind-the-scenes insights, some tech things, all that jazz, and more. Also, we do care what you guys think. That's just the jingle I made 2 years ago when we started this thing.
Crazy to think about. It's been 2 years.
I know. I was helping another friend start a podcast. You should actually check it out. It's called Sticky Sports Side. My friend Noah from college runs it, and he has his first episode. And he was like, "How do you do this, this, this?" And it was about setting up everything on the host platform. And I was like, I don't remember this part. And I was like, it has been over 2 years, and that's just blew my mind. But thank you for being with us for 2 years. So you ready to jump into things?
Yeah. So we want to talk about what ifs. Because
you said the Lightyear trailer first.
Oh yeah, that's right. I
pressing.
forgot. That was kind of crazy. So that came out recently. What did you think?
I really liked it. Honestly, it was kind of so when I was looking at the trailer, I hadn't seen Toy Story in a while, so I was like, oh wow, it looks pretty similar to Buzz Lightyear. I thought they'd make him look more different, more adult grown up. And then I compared it, I saw a comparison of the toy versus Buzz Lightyear, and I was like, whoa, they did make it really grown up, and it's cool because they're kind of working backwards. If this was the astronaut, it makes sense that would then be the toy that we get. And it also makes sense in my mind that it's not Tim Allen voicing the astronaut, because you usually wouldn't probably get an astronaut, even maybe he doesn't come back, but you probably wouldn't get the astronaut to voice all the toys. You'd have someone else do that. So I think that makes sense.
It's a good play there.
Chris Evans.
I also saw did you see the one on IGN, the comparison of Buzz throughout the years? It's pretty much just a bunch of still images on Instagram that I saw.
Okay.
But me having my background in, CGI and 3D animation and stuff, I'm able to actually break down and see all the the technical differences in there. So seeing the rise in poly count, even the changes in the architecture of Buzz. People don't really notice it because he's designed very well and smooth around.
And it's also years between when they see the differences.
Yeah. So for example, the eyes. I'm pretty sure originally the eyes, if they weren't the same mesh with the face, it might have just been semicircles that were just rotated.
Honestly,
up and down.
They janked a lot of it in the first Toy Story. I read the guy, one of the founders of Pixar, Ed Catmull. He made that first 3D animation of a hand that blew.
Yeah, that was the very first 3D object
out of the
ever.
water. But he just wrote his goal back when he started finding out about computers was to make the first 3D animated film, and he had that dream in the 60s, and then it came around, or maybe even the 70s, I don't know, whenever he was in college, and then the 90s is when it finally came to fruition, and it was such a huge long process to get there. George Lucas actually bought Pixar when it was like when Pixar was first like a computer making company. Like their purpose was to make computers, but that was seriously like almost like a front. And they actually hired, I think it might have been when George Lucas hired them. They hired John Lasseter as like a technician, was like his title, even though he like had a degree in like film storytelling, and that's like his specialty. But they wanted him there kind of in secret to like work on these films, and they couldn't like just hire him as like a storyteller. So they were like, he's like a technician.
He's
and then they had him like working like behind George Lucas's back or whoever was
but it makes so much
time.
sense, because if you're able to have something that's able to promote, one, what your technology is able to do at the time,
yeah,
and two, like the actual product itself, and have your direction change that way into the storytelling direction. Right. Like that's such a smart way to do it. And I mean, we are where we are now because of it. So
yeah, hindsight is great, but like it was a long, tough process for them to get there. And once George Lucas like sold them off and didn't want the computer, like the computer was kind of worthless because that wasn't their focus. They ended up getting bought by Steve Jobs, and not a lot of people know that like Steve Jobs was like one of the founders of Pixar that like made it to what it is today. Like I think the actual building, the main Pixar building on like the campus is like the Jobs building or something like that, Steve Jobs building. So I don't know, that's cool. But I like what Pixar does. I like the song they chose, like Starman, and just like making it all intense, like
yes,
Starman. I don't know. I've just been singing that like for the past day and a half or whatever.
I feel like it was very fitting, you know, but at the same time, like it also like
it's a Starman.
Yeah, like it's a nostalgia-ness to that song as well. So like
yeah,
it kind of loops all around.
I'm worried though, because I remember the last Pixar film that kind of had like really big name actors from the MCU specifically was Onward with Tom Holland and Chris Pratt, and that wasn't my favorite Pixar movie, and I don't even know if it did too well. Also, came out right before the pandemic hit, so that's probably a little bit why it didn't do so well. But I wonder, like it was actually the last movie I saw before lockdown. So like March 15th, I was in Hollywood. I was in LA.
Did we see it together?
No, I was in LA.
Oh, that's right. You're in LA.
And that was the last movie I saw with my parents, and then they went home. It was like mid-March, and then the world ended. And then the next movie I saw was that Disney movie I saw with you and Evan, like a year and a half later.
That's crazy to think about. Oh man, this year's been weird.
But yeah, sorry. What I was saying though, the Onward one didn't do so well with like big name actors like Tom Holland, Chris Pratt. So I'm wondering, now they have Chris Evans. I'm hoping I'm gonna be able to like take myself out of it like I did with Dune, and like be able to appreciate the movie and like appreciate this character as Buzz Lightyear, not Chris Evans speaking, you know? I don't know.
Yeah, no, I get what you mean. So here, what I was talking to you before about was like, I wonder how this is going to build into the Pixar story and see like, or even into this Toy Story, like in general, like, is this going to be based off of like Buzz Aldrin, like their version of Buzz Aldrin, and then like he's like an astronaut and his actual adventures there, or is it like an actual like cartoon within the Toy Story universe, and then that's
I
what
don't
Buzz
think
is based
so.
off of?
According to the Pixar theory that like Super Carlin Brothers, they do like a lot of the stuff on that, and they've talked with other people about it. But like the Pixar, so for those who don't know, the Pixar theory is that every single Pixar movie is connected in like one long timeline. Like it starts all the way back at like The Good Dinosaur, then goes to like Brave, and like with like witches and stuff, and then it keeps going up all the way till Monsters Inc. Monsters Inc. is like the end where like humans have evolved to like become monsters, and like everything does connect. But I think Toy Story is like around the same time as The Incredibles, I think. And I'm not sure exactly how it works out, but like I think I saw in some video of the Super Carlin Bros, like Pixar theory, that it's like around the 60s, which is when like in the real world, like when man like went to the moon, kind of thing, went to space. And so that it was also reflected in Toy Story in the show. Like Andy's dad actually owned Woody, and so he handed that toy down to Andy before he like either passed or disappeared. I don't know exactly. I forget what happened to Andy's dad, but and Andy like loved that toy because it was his dad and it was a cowboy. But then, as we see in the original Toy Story, like Space Ranger, Spaceman becomes like the new hot thing, and it's because the popularity of like man going to the moon, it was like the craze of the world, like everyone wanted to like know about that, so that's reflected in that. So it's guesstimated that like Toy Story takes place around the 60s, so I'm assuming this will just take place a year before Toy Story, maybe. or something like that.
That makes sense.
I don't know.
I wonder how that's gonna work out because, like, I mean, we also have like the other secondary characters. Like there's Buzz Lightyear, right? But then there's also the aliens and evil Emperor Zurg and all that.
Yeah, I wonder if that's like. Well, we see aliens in the trailer.
Yeah.
Like he gets wrapped around by something. What if that was Zurg? I saw someone point at still, and it was like a big ball that looked like that one ball on Geonosis in Star Wars, and they were like, "Is that Zurg's ship?" And I was like,
Actually, no, that made me think of By and Large. Actually,
yeah. Oh, yeah. There's all in Pixar theory, like by and large, it's like the overlord, like that are like kind of controlling everything, and
yeah, it's like the big name corporation.
the Pixar theory is so good. I can't explain it well. The Super Carlin brothers did like such a great job, and the whole point is like humans go off world, and like eventually like Wall-E happens and they come back, but as they go off world, like toys that are like becoming sentient, they like evolve, and like things like objects can become sentient, which becomes like cars and stuff like that. But they often die out, as we see in Wall-E, like because like human love and connection is what keeps those sentient things alive. Which is why you see the penguin in Toy Story is kind of like all wheezy and gross because no one's taking care of him and no human is like loving him. So like I don't know, it's a crazy theory. I have no idea if it's true or not, but like it's cool to like talk about that stuff.
Yeah,
and just Pixar is awesome. I love Pixar. You had a couple what ifs for Pixar I think we could talk about. So like we have pitched what if episodes for like Marvel, but if you could pitch a what if episode for Pixar like Marvel, what would you pitch?
So since we're talking about the Buzz one, I was thinking about, okay, what if Andy's first toy was Buzz Lightyear, right? Instead of it being Woody, and then like seeing how if Woody came on later on, like say he found him like his dad's collection somewhere or something like that, how would that then play out, and like how would that new interaction take place? Like would he know that he's a toy, or would he, like how would I feel like Buzz would be like the leader now, and he'd have to be like, okay, so we're toys, yada yada yada.
We're toys.
How his own arch with that, yeah.
His arch, an arc.
Yeah.
Character arch.
I'm too hooked up in my own lore.
That'd be cool. I wonder how that shouting scene when he was like, "You are a toy," would go, but like with Tim Allen.
Yeah.
Star Command.
It'd be funny if like he led the other toys in like, I don't know, like a more militaristic way. So he like gets super along with like the little green trooper guys. But then all the other ones are like...
I don't know, though, because when Buzz realized he was a toy, he, like, kind of lost his, like, Space Ranger facade. Like, that, like, event,
that is true.
Destroyed his personality of, like, being a Space Ranger. And he's, like, a completely different character. So, I wonder what, like, Woody's... That'd be interesting to see what Woody's, like, alter ego, like, full-on like cowboy... Yeah, would be. Would it be like that, the show we saw in Toy Story 2, where he's like, "Yeehaw!"
I guess, yeah.
Woody's Roundup, or whatever the heck it is. Maybe more, like... just crazy outlandish like Jesse is just all the time. I don't know.
That'd be a lot.
Yeah.
What do you think? What's what if you got?
I said, what if Remy was a possum instead of a rat? Because like think about it, he is like small enough that like he can hide in the chef hat. You can't put a possum up there, so like how would they like cook together? Well, like, what would they do?
Is it bad that the first thing that came to my mind was just use different hairs?
What do you mean? Oh my gosh. Ew. Ow.
I know.
That wouldn't work still. You can't put a possum down there.
Maybe he's just packing. Oh, God. Yeah, I took it there. What else we got?
I had one, what if Mike didn't get censored by everything because or covered by everything, because in like the magazine when like he puts
he's always like covered up by something.
Yeah, I actually saw in like an actual store, someone took a picture of like a DVD and like the barcode was covering him up.
Over. Yeah.
So just I love that joke is extended beyond the movie into like real life. Like that was so
that makes
funny.
me think, like, was that intentional? Were they like, oh, the barcode's gonna go here?
I hope it was. I'm gonna say it was. I don't care. Yeah, what if like I don't know, what if Mike was like buff and like...
That was mine. I was like, imagine
funny.
if... Yeah, imagine, because Mike's character was like, what if Mike Wazowski was the Chad?
Chad Wazowski. That's his like cooler older brother that like went to like Monsters University, but like for like a business degree or something. No offense to anyone in business or finance. I think I saw something in like one of the new Monsters Inc. Hold on. like there's like new Monsters at Work.
Yeah.
Mike,
is that out yet, or is that still in process?
No, it is out.
Oh.
And there's a new character called Gary Gibbs, and he looks like, you know, the Nega Scott in Scott Pilgrim. He looks like the
Mike,
the Nega Mike. He's just like a dark blue version of Mike Wazowski.
No.
Look
What's
up Monsters at Work. Mike's nemesis. Gary. His name's Gary. His name should be Chad. If he wears like sunglasses, he has just like one sunglass on. Like,
oh God, no! What is this?
It's Chad Wazowski.
Why, Gary, no. So wait, are they like the same species then? I guess technically.
I don't know. Dude, I don't know the lore behind Monsters at Work as much as I wish I did. Anyways,
that's off-putting. It reminds me of those memes where it's like the Rock or the anti-Rock is like, we don't devour. We don't.
Oh, I've seen that. Yeah, I saw that. Oh, speaking of Pixar though, I read Ed Catmull's book on like how Pixar came to be. That's how I know a good about Pixar. And he lived with Marcia Lucas, which is George Lucas's wife. Like they lived together in Hollywood for like either a few months or like a few years or something like that, like back when they were both young. It's just crazy to me like how small of a world like Hollywood seems to be, and like so many people like know each other. And I don't know, I thought that was like really cool. Also brings me to a point. Marcia Lucas, like George Lucas's wife, actually like saved Star Wars in the edit. Apparently like the first draft was
they lose?
Horrible.
Oh,
what?
Oh no, I was thinking of something else. I was thinking of another Pixar thing. Sorry, you continue your thing.
No, it's all good. I watched a video. Definitely check it out. It's about how Star Wars was saved in the edit. Like the original like draft of Star Wars. Again, small world. Like Steven Spielberg was being shown. George Lucas was showing Steven Spielberg, like just his friend, like his draft of Star Wars, and Steven Spielberg was like, "This is bad." And then Marcia Lucas like changed it and fixed it. Like apparently in the opening scene, it was when like Darth Vader like jumps on the ship and like attacks Leia. It was like intercut with that, and then would just cut to like Luke randomly just going around about his life like farming, and then like it would just stop all momentum, and then they'd cut back to that, and they'd get intense in the fight. Then it'd cut back to Luke just like meandering around doing like his farming thing, because George Lucas wanted to like show the protagonist
the duality.
If you think about it, it's a little weird that in like this story structure, we don't see our main protagonist till like 20 minutes into the movie. Like that's not that typical, but it worked. And so. Like George Lucas's wife like cut around that, and like the editors decided to cut all that. And also at the end, apparently the climax was like horrible. So when like they're doing the trench run and like going to the Death Star, there was like no tension at all because it wasn't structured so that the Death Star was about to round the corner of the planet and like blow up the rebel base. Like there was no time crunch. They were just floating in space, which is, if you actually like look at it, there's not many shots of like the Death Star actually like
near the planet.
It's like, the way they show that is like that one graphic, the table, you know, and they're like going around the planet. It's like showing like a graph. So you don't actually see like much actual footage of that. So like they cut around that because there was like no time pressure at all. They were like, oh, we got the Death Star. Woo. There was no like anxiety. Like, oh my gosh, if he doesn't do this, like the rebels will die and it will be the end. Like there was no tension there. So like they added that in post. So it's like a great decision, but it's just crazy that wasn't the case. That's also I think why they reuse the same footage of like you may fire when ready, and like the same thing of like the guy booting up the Death Star. Like it's the same footage from earlier when they blow up Alderaan because they didn't have any more footage. So that's cool.
It also makes sense because it's like the same firing process. So it's weird to think about like how you're able to use techniques like that to like cut and get around and tell a completely different story.
Yeah.
But like it's also good you can do that because then you're able to save the story in itself.
Yeah, it's so cool. There's actually a YouTube channel I've seen where it's like they edit trailers but like in different genres and like it's all the same footage but you just edit it in different ways, put different music over it, and it like changes the whole vibe. Like I think they did like The Incredibles but like horror, and like it was freaky.
Imagine that being like Jack like going crazy
because like you have like Elastigirl like stretching like her body like being torn apart and you're like what the heck. Yeah, Jack like lit on fire.
Yeah,
I just thought that was an interesting story with Star Wars being saved in the edit. Ho! It's Jake from the future here. So we are closing in on 100 subscribers. That's like the big milestone everyone looks at. Thank you everyone for supporting. But we're gonna do a giveaway at 101 subscribers to be a little different. All you have to do is be subscribed to the channel, and yeah, you're entered for the giveaway. And I'll reach out to you once we hit 101 subscribers because I know a large percentage of people that watch this are not actually subscribed. So if you want to check and see if you're subscribed. Yeah, and people that are already subscribed, you are also already in the giveaway. Don't have to worry about that. Also, I know that the Book of Boba Fett trailer and the Morbius trailer just came out, but like I said, we recorded this earlier, so we'll react to that later. Yeah, thank you. Back to the show. We had a couple more what ifs. So what if did you had one about the Fantastic Four?
Yeah, so going back to like Marvel,
if you could pitch another
MCU,
Marvel what if, what would it be?
Because now we've especially with Venom, now we're seeing like the multiversal stuff. Well, I mean Venom and like a lot of other Doctor Strange things we've seen, but like we're getting into other universes that we've already seen get into like the MCU. So I was like, what if the Fantastic Four was already in the MCU? Like, how would that change? Would that change what happened with Thanos? Would that have changed anything else cosmic?
They could already be in there and just be like in a different dimension or something like that.
That is true. That is another possibility. So,
but yeah, if they were in it, I feel like Reed Richards would be like doing smart stuff. It would be so cool to see like Reed Richards and Tony Stark interact, like those two brains, like head to head.
Doctor.
Yeah, because we saw like him and like Tony Stark and Doctor Strange don't often get along because they're both hot-headed like geniuses. I feel like Reed Richards could be portrayed as a hot-headed genius.
I just think Reed isn't that much of a hothead. He is.
I know, but if you're against Tony Stark, like
things can get heated.
Yeah. Heated. Johnny Storm, Fantastic Four.
This is Chris Evans again.
I want that. But as Buzz Lightyear, flame on to infinity and flame on.
What was some Marvel what ifs you had?
Oh, you mentioned one of what if Peggy died in World War II?
Oh yeah, what Peggy died in World War II and how would that affect Cap?
I feel like Cap then wouldn't go back in time in Endgame, or he would to try to save her, and that could affect so much. I wonder also how that would affect like the formation of S.H.I.E.L.D. with Peggy dying, because she was like one of the founding members. So I feel like he would either stay in the present because he has nothing to go back to and like stay with Bucky and like live happily ever after with Bucky, or he'd go back in time and like try to save her. But I also wonder if her dying, like how that would affect the formation of S.H.I.E.L.D. Like Hank Pym, I don't know what path he'd go down. And would Sharon be an agent still, because Peggy like influenced her to be like
I don't think so,
an agent, which would then affect
talking
Winter
about
Soldier.
Spider-Man. I mean, of course the big what if going on right now is what if you get all the Spider-Man yada 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 yada. But like, what if it was
Drake Bell? Voice of Spider-Man. He voices Spider-Man.
What if it was all the voice actors Spider-Man? Yuri Lowenthal. Oh god, what's his name? He's in
the
a lot of
guy from
other
New
stuff.
Girl that voices like the like burnt out Spider-Man in Spider-Verse.
Yeah. Could also get Chris Pine and
oh yeah.
It's weird to think about how many people like voiced Spidey actually.
Neil Patrick Harris.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to think of for the 3D one that came out. And then you could also get like a classic 90s voice actor. I forget what his name was.
Yeah.
That was a good show. That'd be so funny. But no, I was going to say, what if the Spider-Man came back as part of the Sinister Six? So it's like we have like
just a Sinister Six of Spider-Man?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Imagine that. Like,
that'd be cool though. I mean, actually, that would no. Wait. We've been making fun of Marvel so much for having the villain just be the hero, but now the villain is just six of the hero. Sinister Six of Spider-Man, just different versions. Who would you want? Wait, all right. Who would you want in your Sinister Six of Spider-Man? What versions?
What do you mean so different versions of Spidey?
Yeah. Who would you want to see like all team up in like?
Okay, so you need pretty much the kingpin of that would be the
Well, wait. First, which Spider-Man are you putting against? Let's say
so in this scenario we're in MCU, right? So we're gonna have
it's Tom Holland versus this Sinister Six, and let's start for this round. Let's do just film and TV versions of that we've seen of Spider-Man and like the game. So like not comics, and then we can do comics. You can add that in later.
Okay. Oh man, that's tough. Has he even been in games? I mean, technically his suit has.
Who?
I'm thinking of Superior Spider-Man.
With Dr. Octopus?
Yeah.
So in the Superior Spider-Man comic book, Dr. Octopus like kills Peter Parker and like takes over, transfers his consciousness
So what happens is Doc Ock is dying.
He
during a
switches
fight,
places.
Yeah.
I was getting there, bro.
Well, you said Peter was dying. He wasn't dying. That's like
No, I didn't. I said he kills Peter, and he does that by transferring his consciousness.
He doesn't kill him. He just
If you transferred your consciousness, my consciousness to a dying body, I would say you killed me.
But no, you're still technically okay. The way that it was done in the comics,
if I'm Spider-Man, peak health, and then all of a sudden I'm just placed
a piece of Peter in the
like
body
a potato body.
There. Your soul was still connected somewhat. I mean, that's how it was in the comics, and then that's how Peter got.
Okay, I feel like we haven't explained this. So Doc Ock is dying, and then switches places with Peter Parker, like his brain transfers consciousness. So Peter Parker's in Doc Ock's body, and Doc Ock is in Spider-Man's body. Peter Parker dies, and then Doc Ock assumes the mantle of Spider-Man and like has like an epiphany and decides to like be good or try to be good.
Yes,
but as his own version of Spider-Man, he's like more techie and he's a cool version. But it cannot be. That'll be in your comic version, but for film versions.
Okay, so for film versions, so black suit Toby, but like evil.
Oh, black suit. I didn't think about different versions. Okay.
Yeah.
I've fine. Okay, I got this. Sorry, you go ahead.
Are we also including animation?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're doing the 6-arm, like not 6-arm. It's when he goes like full spider mode in the animated series. You remember that? Okay. Like I don't know, you gotta have like the heavy weight. You gotta have my 6 mobile for cinematic ones already.
Yeah.
Okay, you do it first because I'm thinking too much about it.
All right, so for my Sinister Six of Spider-Man, I want Tobey Maguire, but when he's dancing down the street, like Spider-Man 3, I'm
gonna put some dirt
just
in your
that.
Eye.
Plays the piano. I want Andrew Garfield, but when he's like first getting his powers and is like going crazy, like looking around. I want Drake Bell, just as Drake Bell. I want Neil Patrick Harris as Barney, just in a suit. I want Spider-Gwen and Miles Morales. Yeah, that's what I want.
See, I'm trying to think of like legit evil versions of the character.
Spider-Man, Tobey dancing down the street is gonna throw off Tom Holland. He's gonna be like, "What?" And then Drake Bell is gonna blast some music in his ear. Neil Patrick Harris is gonna choke him with his like tie. And then Miles is gonna chop him in half. Shock him. Bam. Done.
Chop chalk?
Yeah.
Miles is a good one because there are some dark variations of Miles. There's a future, it's not like 2099, I don't think, but it's a future version of Miles where he's like much darker history and like he's like very much more gritty and like I'm pretty sure at that time the superheroes are like on the hunt.
Oscar Isaac.
Yeah. That's okay. So if we're gonna be doing, I'm just gonna cut in the comic versions because that's what I'm.
Okay.
So I would do Superior. I would do
Spider-Man.
Again 2099.
Oh, I want Spider-Ham in mine too. This is hard.
2099, but like there's different times I think where Miguel goes like murder crazy. If I'm not mistaken, he doesn't have the same morals as Peter. That's the thing. Like he's good with killing, in some cases.
Okay.
I want to do Bruce Banner.
What?
Yeah, there's a Bruce Banner version of Spider-Man.
Okay.
There's a version where it's a different type of, because in that version it's like a Gamma Spider, and then it's different. Again, Dark Toby. The 6th I feel like should be like another version of Tom Holland, but he's like fat. Just cuz.
Daniel, I'm gonna do this legit strategically. Also, Daniel, fat Tom Holland is going online. All right, cool.
Oh no, wait! Bombastic Bagman.
Oh yeah,
yes.
In the comics, I think Peter like loses his suit and has to go. He goes to like the Fantastic Four and like has to put on a Fantastic Four suit to like swing home, but he doesn't have. The Fantastic Four don't have masks, so he puts a bag over his head and swings home.
It was when he realized the symbiote was a symbiote,
Bad.
and he's like, and he was like, "Get this thing off me!" So Reed hit him with like a sonic blast, and then he was like, "I don't have anything on under this because I've been just using this as my clothing."
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's why you never go commando when you're superheroing.
Well, he still had his briefs on, but yeah, or boxer briefs.
Yeah.
It's just funny thing about it was something I don't worry about like getting like my fingerprints on windows and stuff like that and be like, oh, somebody's gonna find my secret identity, you know?
Identity. Yeah. Well, I don't want to ramble too much. I think we've been like all over the place. Is there anything else you want to quickly talk about today?
Are we not doing any more what ifs? I was gonna say like, what if Galactus
Do you have another one?
Like what if Galactus got the Infinity Stones?
Okay. What if? What happens?
Well, that's the thing. He's already the devourer of worlds, so I feel like he'd kind of almost be like
them.
He'd be like an Ultron like scenario there, like from the
he just
series.
Oh wow, you just copied their idea. Way to go, Daniel.
No, but no. What I'm trying to say, like Ultron tries to go and do it for order. Galactus has a hunger, so like he'd be going to other universes trying.
Well, but to be fair,
to feed.
Yeah, but Ultron said he was doing it for order, but like he was actually just destroying everything. So like the results would be very similar.
Yeah. We could also do like what if
Harry Potter was not the chosen one and it was Neville Longbottom. That would suck. No, actually there's like a theory that like Neville could be the chosen one because like of the prophecy or whatever, like it was like a range of dates, like a week, and like Neville was born within a week of Harry Potter, and like his parents also like died at the hands of Voldemort's like minions or something like that. So like there is like a legit theory that like Neville could be the chosen one.
So wait, all that happened and Neville was just, why did he never speak up about it? Like, what?
Because they ever thought it was Harry, and Neville was like, okay. I don't know.
That's interesting.
Let Neville be Neville. The only other thing I saw that actor in was the one movie with Emilia Clarke where like he's her fit boyfriend, but she's taking care of like this paralyzed guy, and he's just like a real jerk. So I
think I know what you're talking about, yeah. I've seen like
the paralyzed guy is the guy with the trident from Hunger Games. I'm being so vague here. Well, are you ready for patron shout-outs?
Yeah, hit me with them.
Cue the Star Wars music. Boosh, we got Patron Lori, Frank, Rick, Lisa, Evan, Tony. Thank you so much for pledging the tier. You can see the shout-outs. You want to support us over on Patreon, like it's down in the description. You get episodes early, the audio episode early, special benefits, cool perks. We really, really sincerely appreciate it. Thank you to all of our patron supporters. And thank you to everyone that's just listening. If you want to leave a comment on a video, we will shout it out. Again, like we said, it has been like, what is today? Friday? It's been one day since we released our last episode because we had to record this one early. So I like don't know if there are any comments on our video, which is totally fine, totally tubular. I will shout out Daniel for being a great podcast co-host. Okay. Ready for the introduction?
Yeah, tell me when.
When?
We just talked about whatever we want to talk about, and now we're done.
Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for bearing with us on this kind of last minute episode, a little all over the place. If you liked it, let us know. Maybe leave a comment and we will shout it out. Let us know what you would want us to talk about on these things that when we have like no preparation. I swear we'll prep more. We're going to talk about the Eternals and stuff when Daniel gets back. I do have ideas for things, but it's just like literally like today I was like, we have to record like now, so we didn't have time to like prep anything. So hope you enjoyed either way. I always like talking about Pixar and stuff like that. Yeah, thank you. Goodbye.
Bye.